Welcome back to Tutorial Tidbits and welcome to my channel. I'm Elizabeth St. Hilaire and this week I'm channeling my inner child using a mixed media art supply that was originally marketed towards kids. These days it's also marketed towards mixed media artists because we discovered what an amazing art supply it actually is. So, and many of you have told me on my social media outlets that you've tried it and you've purchased it, but you want to know more. So if you want to know more about how to use Stabilo Woodies, or if you've never used them and you want to think about purchasing Stabilo Woodies, this is going to be the video for you. I'm going to show you what you can do with them, the properties of them, and why I like them. So please subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss any future content. Please comment and like the video if you would. That helps my channel, and the better my channel does, the more content I can provide for you. So without any further ado, let's check out Stabilo Woodies. So today I am doing a demonstration and review of Stabilo Woodies pencils. I use these in my mixed media artwork constantly. I use them in portraits, I use them in florals, I use them in landscapes, I use them in small studies, I use them in large pieces. I use them a lot, and I use them in some different ways. I wanted to share with you in this video sort of a demonstration of how they work, and also a little sneak peek into how I use them in my artwork. So Stabilo Woodies started out as kids crayons, kids art material, but they caught on with mixed media artists and have become super popular. And so now, rather than just being marketed towards kids, they're also marketed as a mixed media 3-in-1 art tool. So on the side of the pencil, it does say 3-in-1. And it has the brush to indicate that it's water soluble. So it's a water soluble, that's one thing. So it's basically a watercolor. The second thing that it is a colored pencil because it writes and makes marks like colored pencil. And the third thing it is a wax crayon, because it also has some of the properties of like a Crayola crayon, a wax crayon, or even an oil pastel, in the fact that you can rub it and smudge it with your finger. So it is indeed 3-in-1. It does a lot of different things, and it has a lot of great properties, these pencils. So presently, the best deal I think is to buy them in a set. There's two different 18 sets that are, I think, the best deal. There's also a 10 color set, but the 18 set, there's one that includes pastels, and there's one that includes all bold, vibrant colors. Each of the sets includes the sharpener, and you're going to want to get a set to get a sharpener, because I think right now the sharpeners are a little hard to find. They're out of stock, and they're also kind of expensive, $6 to $8 individually, but they come with the set. So you can also buy the pencils open stock, meaning you can buy them one at a time, but I think that's going to add up to more than your set, and you're not going to get a sharpener. So you definitely want to have the sharpener, because it's a big, wide open proprietary sharpener that the pencil fits into, and this is not going to work with any other sharpener that you have, unless you have some of those big 80s eyeliner pencils that were thick like this. I think I used to have a sharpener that was about this big for that. So without further ado, I'm also going to be using my water brush to blend these out. This is a great tool if you're not familiar with it. Water is stored in the barrel, and it you just squeeze it to get the water to come out through the brush. Actually, there's no water in this right now, so I'm going to have to fill that. Okay, take two. Now we've got water in the water brush. So the water's in the barrel. You squeeze it, and it comes out through the bristles of the brush. And in order to clean it, you just squeeze water through to flush the color out and wipe it on a paper towel. So it's great for travel watercolors. Let's get that paper towel. It's great for travel watercolors because it's portable and it's already got water in it. So I love it for travel watercolors, but it's also fun for messing around with these woodies. So let's look at the color opacity of these pencils and the blendability of them. So I want to show you on just how opaque they are. They're very opaque. They will write over black. This is black gesso that I have put on watercolor paper. So there's the white, really nice, going right over the black, pretty vibrant. And the yellow, same thing. So I picked some light colors, some pastel colors, so we could look at that. This is the peach, right over. And here's a nice pale pink. And again, we're going over black gesso, very solid black gesso. So that's really nice. Then I can get down into, well, here's a few other lighter colors, a light orange over black gesso, this red. Here's another light color, the it's like a green gold almost. And then the nice light blue, a richer green, a purple, a brown, and somewhere I have a gold metallic. Let me get a metallic. Here it is. So here's the gold metallic. There's also, I think, a silver and a bronze maybe on the metallic. So there you can see how really rich and vibrant and opaque they are going over black. Now let's look at them on the white, and we'll look at their blendability. So you're not going to see the white pencil on white. The yellow, I'm just going to look at how nice this is. Smooth, goes on like a crayon. If you apply more pressure, you get nice thick lines. These are 10 millimeter thick points. They're stubby and they force you to be loose. You can't really get precise lines with these. So I like them because they make me be loose and make nice big lines in my mark making. I love the fact that they're so buttery and soft, and they go on like this, and they will keep me loose with those thick lines. And there's so much. I mean, I've had these for years and sharpened them several times, and there's still tons of it left. So a little goes a long way with these. The other thing that I love about these is that they're encapsulated in this wooden housing, so I can apply a lot of pressure to get these lines thick, and I can use them on a 24 or 48 inch canvas and move from big swipes from my shoulder and big marks, and I don't have to worry about them breaking in half like a lot of the art crayons on the market tend to do. A lot of these thinner art crayons on the market, if I hold them and try to make big bold marks and go over my collage glue and be fast and loose, they crack in half, and it's so frustrating. So one of my favorite things about these woodies is that they're housed in the wood like a pencil, and no matter how hard I press, I'm not going to break this in half. That is one of my favorite things, the durability and the 10 millimeter tip, so that it keeps me loose with big thick marks. So let's go then to the orange. I'll just do a few color swatches here so we can look at the blendability of them. Some of them are a little bit more water soluble than others. Some of them blend a little bit easier than others. That's just different properties of the pigment. The metallic, I think, is a little different, but it sure is nice and shiny. And let's see. Another way you can use these is you can dip them into water. So I just dip this into my water bucket, and when I do it like this, when you dip them in water, you can get some real nice wet effects with it as a pencil and soluble as you dip and scribble. So that's another way to use it as a pencil with water, but not completely blend it out. Look at how beautiful that is as I smudge through it with the pencil wet just by dipping it in my water bucket. So back to this, let's see, what other colors do we need on there? The dark green. And the pink. I think that's most of them. So we're going to take the water brush and squeeze the water through it and blend out. So here you have the way that you can blend it into watercolor and drag it out into light color, squeezing through the brush and totally blend it out into a nice watercolor. So then I'm just going to squeeze this brush, flush it onto the paper towel. As far as blendability with your fingertips, let's look at that. So if I just smudge this, I can blend it to a soft blend with my fingertips. And I can also put my finger in a little water and blend it that way. So the next one, let's look at the blendability of the pink. I love pink. Look at that. Oh my goodness, so beautiful, right? So I can make marks on top of my collage artwork and blend them out into a nice painterly effect, or I can smudge them with my fingers to blend them into other colors, sort of like an oil crayon or oil pastel would blend, because they're sort of waxy but soft, so I could blend colors together. And I could dip the sticks in water and scribble with them that way for a half blended, half pencil type of effect. They do have like, they go on looking like a colored pencil with sort of the feeling of a crayon. So if I want to make marks that look like colored pencil lines, I have this nice feeling of a drawing material, which is different than the feeling of a painting material like you get with the paint pen. Like with the Posca marker, you get hard edges and it looks like a marker. When you use this, it really looks like a drawing material. It gets that soft drawn edge and it blends or smudges and gives you a little bit more of a painterly effect. Look at that. That orange is just gorgeous. So now we have the green, sort of the green gold. Have the red. Look at that. Oh, that's very rich in how it blends. And look at how far it goes. Then I have, here's the gold. Let's clean this brush out. And the gold metallic. So the gold metallic blends a little bit less richly than the colors. But I think if I just laid it on more of it, knowing that. And then I didn't blend out the yellow up here, so look at that, beautiful. And we could blend that right into the pink for some sort of watercolor layering effects. Then I've got everybody's favorite color, purple. Oh, look at how rich and luxurious that blends with the water. And again, in terms of blending with your finger, nice and soft and smudgy. And lastly, we've got this darker green. Ooh, look at how rich that is when it blends out. That's just gorgeous. Look at that. Beautiful. So they come in great colors and they're water soluble and they're vibrant and they're fun. But since they are water soluble, I know what's on your mind. How do I set these? How do I make them permanent? What happens when I want to varnish my piece? Well, what I do is I hit them with a Krylon crystal clear finish, and I will link that product for you below the video. This is UV and archival from Krylon, but it's not super expensive. That is a spray varnish essentially. And when you spray that lightly over these, once they're down on your artwork, and you give it a little baby finger rub test, and if nothing transfers onto your baby finger with a little smudge, then you're good to go with a brush varnish on top, or with more water on top, more mixed media paint. You will seal them and keep them from moving, and then you can go on and brush varnish your whole piece when you're done. So no worries, they will set and they will hold with a little bit of Krylon crystal clear finish. So the other thing that I thought would be fun to do with these would be to stamp and kind of watercolor wash and color stamps, like if you were doing cards. I've always featured them in mark making on top of my artwork, on top of my collage work, but I do design stamps and I use them a lot for making cards or embellishing packages or that sort of thing, envelopes and notes. So I've got an archival ink pad here that's permanent, so it won't smudge when I add the water. Here's a big fun flower that I designed for Rubber Moon. So we'll add the ink to the stamp. It's easier to do it this way than to try to press the flower into the ink pad. And we're gonna flip that over and stamp it onto, this is watercolor paper. When you're making a lot of water and mixed media with these pencils, I do suggest you use some watercolor paper and not just paper out of the printer. The watercolor paper will take a lot more water and rubbing and abuse and still hold up. And a heavy duty watercolor is best if you are gonna be adding a lot of water and a lot of layers. So here I've stamped my flower design and it's with the permanent ink pad. And just to give you another example of a way that you can use the pencils, we can color in and blend. So you can just blend with water and sort of soften all these nice warm colors, and I'm letting the water kind of go from one color into the next, so it's tinting my yellow and my orange and sort of keeping me in all nice warm colors. And the permanent ink pad does not move with the water, which is really nice. So they become sort of a watercolor that way, and they're great for coloring in sort of stamps or your own pen and ink drawings. Let's add a little pink here into the wet. So I'm drawing this right on top of the wet. And then I'm going to blend that so I can go wet into wet, draw right into wet and do that. The other thing that you can do with these is, let's see, with the purple, you can take the water brush and squeeze water through it and put it onto the tip, and then that will transfer this beautiful color from the woody right onto your water brush, and it goes a long way. Look at how long of a way this goes just from me brushing the end of the pencil. And as I squeeze more water through the water brush, it dilutes the color and it gets lighter. So I could do that, and I could come in with a little bit of this super dark purpley blue. Maybe put that in the center. So that's another fun way to do it with water rather than just putting it on the page. And the water brush. And this water brush is awesome because you could doodle with this on an airplane and you don't even need a bucket of water. All you need to do is fill the barrel of the water brush. Maybe you have a water bottle in case you need to put some more in it, or grab a couple of them and take them with you, and a little paper towel, and you're making watercolor art without any mess and without any water container, which is great. So, and then the other option is to dip the pencil. So let's look at the blue color. Again, I'm going to dip it in a water bucket off camera, and just that water that's on the tip of it is going to blend some of it, but also leave some of it as sort of scribbly mark making lines. So this gives me a combination of the wet and dry looking marks, which is kind of nice. So I'm just dipping in, and then I can even come in with the water brush if I wanted to extend it or soften it out, blend it at the edges. So this is really a fun way to sort of make designs with stamps, whether they're stamps you carve yourself or commercial stamps or foam stamps or rubber stamps. And you want to make sure that you're using an ink pad that's permanent and waterproof, such as the archival ink from Ranger. So what do you think about these woodies? I think you need them. I think if you don't already have them in your art supply repertoire, you're going to want to get them. And you're in luck, because as of the publishing date of this video and the link below, joggles.com, my friends in mixed media, small family owned company from Rhode Island, and I have to plug them because they are the manufacturers and producers of my stencils, the only people that make and sell my stencils. They've been great to me, so I encourage you to check out the link for these Stabilo Woodies, because Joggles has them on 30% off on today's published date, which I think is the day after St. Patrick's Day 2022. So anyway, thanks for being here, and let me know in the comments below if you have used the woodies, if you like them, and or if you found this video helpful. I love the comments, and I try to reply to everyone, so thanks. So that is a couple of different ways that I use these woody pencils. I really love the fact that they don't require any tooth. So if for some reason you wanted to write on glass or a mirror, you can use them for that as well. They'll write on anything. They'll write on my my non-stick craft mat desktop, which is pretty slippery. And then when I want to get rid of the stuff off my craft mat, I just wipe it. So this is a beautiful surface to keep clean for videos and for your work. But you can see that this doesn't require any tooth the way that it writes on this slick surface. It'll even write on my hand, which I know you don't necessarily want to do that, but it just shows you how well it works without a tooth. So there's always that. So anyway, I hope that you've enjoyed this demonstration of the Stabilo Woodies. I think you'll really enjoy them in many different applications. And I look forward to seeing what you create. All the links for the products are below the videos. And check out my other videos with Stabilo Woodies in the upper right-hand corner. Or also linked at the end of this video. And they are, at the time of this publishing, these Stabilo Woodies in open stock and in sets are on a really good discount at joggles.com, and that link is below. Thanks so much for being here with me this week. Remember to subscribe and check out my videos at the end screen, other videos that I've done on Stabilo Woodies. I'll see you next week.